Welcome to Play by Play, a podcast that gives you a running commentary on relevant topics in sports and life. Join championship coaches Pat and Jerry as they give you relevant takes on events as they occur, along with flashbacks from past experiences. Here now are Pat and Jerry doing Play by Play.
Hey, everybody out there, another episode. We're in the 90s on our way to 100. Thank you for all your support. We've got a great guest today. I can't wait to introduce him, one of the greatest coaches of all time. And again, I've got my co host, Pat Knapp. Pat, we've got NBA, we've got WNBA, we've got the Belmont that I nailed right on the nose, but we've got a tremendous show uh, for you today. Coach, how you doing?
I'm
Doing
doing good,
well, doing
Jerry.
well out here.
So
Nice
I,
to be
I think we
back.
should just jump right into this, Pat. I'm going to introduce our guest. We have a coach who has 470 wins. He coached at Pepperdine, where he went to 8 consecutive NCAA tournaments, 3 regular season championships in the Pac in 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 the Western Conference, the West Coast Athletic Conference. He was Naismith Coach of the Year. He coached at UCLA, one of the best winning percentages at UCLA in their history, beyond the Wooden era. He was he captured the championship, defeating Arkansas. He won the Pac-10 title. He's gave UCLA their 11th national champion. He was Naismith Coach of the Year, Pac-10 Coach of the Year. He's been to multiple NC2A tournaments, Sweet 16s, Elite Eights. He's every program he's gone to, he's taken to postseason play. Just a record that you just can't imagine. We're going to learn all about how he built those teams and where it's going. Please introduce one of the best coaches in the game today and yesteryear, Mr. Jim Harrick. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Jerry. How are you and Pat doing? Good.
Just a phenomenal career, um, and the staff, the people that you developed into coaches through the years, all the people that worked for you. It's
Probably, probably, Jerry, one of my proudest things is I sent 12 guys, assistant coaches, to be head coaches in Division One. Out of
and
out of the 21 assistants I had, I got 12 of them head coaching jobs. And I think that's part of your responsibility. Try to move these guys on and get them jobs and let them do their thing. And I'm proud of that. Yes.
Coach, and they're all of your assistants have had success too. You know, whether they're following your formula or using a little bit of that and a little bit of theirs, it's just incredible the coaching family that you built over the course of your 20 something years, 30 years of coaching. It's just
Yeah,
incredible.
I spent a lot of years coaching. Jerry had a marvelous run, and we have a system of basketball, and I get on my knees every day and thank the Lord for the John Wooden system of basketball. Not the only way to play, just the best. And it's a system that's won 13 national championships. Now, Denny Crum ran it at Louisville and won two, and we won one, and Coach Wooden won 10. And we used to go to things together, and he'd get up and say, "Hey, between Jim and I, we won 11 national championships," and laugh. He thought that was the funniest thing in the world. But it's a system of basketball that is the most beautiful thing in the world to me, and it's very successful.
It's
Jim,
competitive. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Jerry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, let's start at the beginning. Uh, Morris Harvey College in West Virginia. How did you get out to Southern California?
But I was born and raised in Charleston, West Virginia. went to high school and college there at the university. It's now the University of Charleston in Charleston, West Virginia. And I graduated and worked that summer and got married in August. And my wife and I got in the car. I had a job. I'm walking through the school one day and stopped at the placement office. I'm a senior now. You think, well, you better get your butt, you better have something to do next year. And so I applied for a bunch of jobs and got a teaching job in California and got in the car and came out here and started teaching. And about 4 years, I got a high school coaching job assistant. I was a JV coach for 5 years. As a baseball coach also there at Morningside High School in Inglewood, California.
Yeah.
And in 69, I became the head coach. In 73, we had the #1 high school team in America. And I just had great high school teams, great success there. And I was I'm a high school coach and English teacher is what I really am. And all of a sudden I got an opportunity to go to college and went to Utah State as an assistant basketball coach. And I had 4 marvelous years in Logan, Utah. And my big break came. I got hired as an assistant at UCLA. And when you do that, it was only 2 years after Coach Wooden quit. So, you're in a different stratosphere then because, people start looking at you. And 2 years went by and all my friends said, hey, don't do it, don't do it. But, I came to California from Charleston, West Virginia, and my wife and I just love California. And our 3 sons were born out there. And then I left and went to Logan, Utah for 4 years and came back. And I'm saying, hey, I got a chance to stay in Southern California. That's what I really want to do. So I took the job at Pepperdine. I got the job at Pepperdine. And I had 9 marvelous, marvelous years there. Jerry won the league 5 times and 9 years, went to 2 NITs and just had a plethora of athletes and guys getting drafted. And it was a great run for me. And I always say the Lord never put me in a situation I couldn't handle. That's why He started me in junior high and made me a JV coach, and then made me a high school coach, and then made me coach at Pepperdine for 9 years to hone my craft. And then when I got the opportunity to go to UCLA, I was, in my opinion, really, really ready to handle that.
And that's when you helped Pepperdine get that national profile. With all the success you had there, all the NITs and then the postseason play and the NC2A, you elevated the entire program.
We had a marvelous run there. It was just, but really, really for me, it was my proving ground. I could try anything. I never got no one ever said a word about me. Nothing, not much in the paper, nothing. It was just nothing sitting out there in Malibu. I'm in Malibu every day, which is not too bad.
Not bad.
No, yeah.
Good
No
life.
one ever said anything bad. And so I went box and chase. I went triangle and 2. I tried everything in the world. Trap, 1-2-1-1, 2-2-1. I could do anything I wanted to do, and no one ever criticized. No one ever said a word to you about it. We were successful. But I learned that I could try different things and do different things without being in a pressure situation like UCLA. And then when I got to UCLA, I had that experience, and Pepperdine was the greatest growing ground in the world for Jim Harrick.
Jim, I found it very interesting looking at the history of Pepperdine basketball. I don't know if, Jerry, you know this, but that campus started in downtown LA.
Yeah, I was a coach at Morningside High School when they were downtown.
Yeah, they were playing down there.
I didn't
and
knew that.
Forum and every place else. Then they moved out to Malibu, somewhere in the 70s.
1972, a couple of ladies in town gave them a plot of land, and like you move your home, they just moved the university out there and built one building. And you should see that place today. It is magnificent.
Probably one of the most
I haven't been there
views
since
of any
the 80s.
campus. They have one of the most
Yeah,
beautiful views of any campus, standing out, looking out at that ocean.
and to be there every day for 9 years, it was just marvelous. This is the best job I've ever had, quite frankly.
Jim, do you recall, he may have come after you, but you had a very successful women's basketball coach there, Mark Track.
Track.
You remember Mark?
Mark was right after I left. He came. Yes, I remember Mark and know him.
Mark coached here at New Mexico State for 6 years, won 3 titles, and he's retired here.
Oh, really?
He's right up the street. Yeah.
Him, I said hello. Yeah.
I will, Jim.
Pepperdine ties. Good, good.
Yeah, he was good. I recruited one of his kids when he was in high school.
I have Pat and Jerry. I've gotten into girls basketball. My granddaughter is a scholarship player at the University of San Diego in the West Coast Conference. She's a sophomore, will be a junior. She was 114th leading scorer in the nation last year and the 14th leading foul shooter in the nation.
Impressive.
Her name is Kylie Ray, and I just go everywhere she goes. I go follow her, watch her play, and it's one of the great pleasures in my life.
That is
that's a great hobby and a labor of love. Jerry and I have both been there.
I kind of indicated to my wife when she was a little baby. I said, I'm not much into women's basketball, and it wasn't very popular in those days.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a great story. My wife says, "Let's go watch Kylie's playing down to Y." I said, "You want me to go to a third grade girls basketball game? Is that what you want?" She said, that's what grandparents do. I said, "Okay." We go down there and score 16-0. She's got all 16. Everything. Yeah, changes everything. I got her, and I've worked her out hundreds of times, and she has. You can't coach into an athlete. She can't get enough. I want to go home. She wants to shoot more. Yeah, but boy, she's developed, and she was one of the top 100 players in the country, and I'm really proud of her. So I'm into it. I follow it. I know the pros and everything.
And let's go back to Pepperdine a little bit. You had some very good players there. I remember Dwayne Poley, Grant Gondrachek. You had some great teams at Pepperdine. You came up empty in a lot of first round games. Obviously, the seeding was a big part of it.
We played Duke and Maryland,
but do you want to talk about that NC State game, or should we forget that?
I don't mind. It was destined for Jimmy to win it that year, and we were up 6 with the ball in the first overtime with a minute to go. And he was in the mood of fouling everybody. And I had an 84% foul shooter, and he missed 2 1-on-1s, and it really hurt us. But, I go to lunch with this guy twice a year, and we'd laugh and joke about it. And he says, "It still bothers me. It still bothers me."
I'll bet.
I lost one worse than that. I had Rhode Island on the brink of going to the Final Four. And we were up the whole game. And they were up fouling us, and the team was yelling, "Foul him, foul him, foul him." The guy came left-handed across a left-handed player who was dribbling. He comes this way across him, just really scraped him and raped him. And official still got the whistle in his mouth. And they tipped it to Madsen, and Madsen dunked it, and we got beat. But to take Rhode Island in the Final Four was great.
Did you have Lamar Odom on that team?
He was on the bench on that game.
Really?
Yeah, we had Catino Mobley and Tyson Wheeler were my 2 guards, and they were splendid.
Catino Mobley played at Cardinal Doherty High School in Philadelphia.
Yes, I know.
I coached in that league. He was a heck of a player.
I got to Rhode Island and they told me, well, he's a good player, but he only started half the games his junior year. So we started practice, and I said, whoa, this guy's pretty
He's
good.
pretty good.
He made his first 14 shots in 2 games. He was 14 for 14 after 2 games. And so he had just an unbelievable year and got drafted second
Yeah,
and had an 11-year career in NBA.
I bet the
that's
best
pretty good.
I bet the best part of coaching is the kids reaching out and keeping in touch with you.
That's the reward you get for coaching. The bond I've had with players, I have my high school guys still call me. All my Pepperdine guys, we have lunch twice a year together. I got some friends from even my assistant's job at Utah State. I got some great young guys I keep in touch with, and my UCLA guys. We're having a get together late August. Bob Myers, the general manager of Golden State Warriors, was on our team that
Yeah,
year. And he lives in a big home in Santa Monica and's got a movie theater, and we're gonna go over there and have dinner and watch a game and invite the whole club, flying everybody in. And those are the kinds of bonding. And I have some great, great players at Georgia that I keep in touch with, great players at Rhode Island. And these guys call every Father's Day. We get texts and calls and Christmas, and that's the reward you get for coaching.
Yeah,
That's it.
I always wonder, are the bonds as strong with the transfer portal and people coming and going so much?
People ask me, how UCLA going to be? You know what? I have no idea. I don't know. I only know one guy on the team, one guy, and what they've done to this thing is criminal. I would say what the Pac-10 presidents did to the Pac-10 conference is criminal.
terrible.
Yeah.
If you do it for greed, do it for money. They always everybody tells me, AD says, we had to do it. We had to do it. Yeah, you had to do it, but it's all about greed. It's all about money, and that's going to end up hurting. I look at what the NCAA's done to college athletics, and I just shudder. It's really embarrassing to the nation when you're having kids out running around like this. All they think about is money and where can I go, and transferring every single minute they get. One game I'm transferring, I'm out. It's crazy out there, crazy. I don't know one coach happy. I thought
Now, I was going to say, what do you think the mental health is of the Division I basketball coach these days?
I haven't seen a Division I basketball coach smile in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I spent 40 years in college, and all I ever heard was welfare of the student athlete and academics. And for the last 6, 7 years, I've never heard those words. Never heard the welfare
Yeah,
of the student athlete and academics. And even ADs, they don't even act like it. Academics is something we're there for. I really don't understand what's going on. I'm glad it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
it's unsustainable. Jerry and I talk about it all the time. They
Yeah.
lost academics. The money's out of control. You
Greed,
can leave whenever you want.
The
greed,
mid
Pat.
majors the mid majors get it the worst. They have to
Yeah.
change their whole coaching philosophy, knowing that whoever they bring in this year could be gone in 1 or 2 years.
You have a good player at the mid-major level, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
And I wanted my granddaughter to start small at San Diego and build a resume, and she's doing that. And I'm such a loyal guy. I love loyalty, and I love her coach, and she loves her coach, and she going back next year, and I don't care about all that stuff. And I just like loyalty and being with one coach, and especially if they're good. And this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything this crazy.
Get a good degree.
And get a good
Yeah,
degree and then build some memories that years later you'll be able to look back on and connect with
Yeah,
people.
the fact of the matter is, Jim, if you were coaching Pepperdine now, you wouldn't be having all these lunches with former players because they'd all be leaving. Lee, White, so they'd all leave after a year or two.
The NBA had 10 rounds of draft when I was at Pepperdine.
Oh yeah.
We had in 9 years, we had 15 guys drafted. Paul Lee was the highest. He got drafted second, but we had a couple fifths. Gondrzak and Anthony Frederick got a fifth round draft choice, and Gondrzak played 3 or 4 years. Anthony Frederick played 5 years in the league, and we had some good players. Eric White, Lee Middlebrooks, and had some guys play overseas. Victor Anger played overseas for 9 years. John Corpus played in Greece for 15 years, and so I had some players who really let basketball make them a great life.
Yeah.
So Coach
Jim, let's talk about UCLA.
Well, yeah.
Obviously great run. The only national champ besides John Wooden. Ed O'Bannon, Tyus Edney, Toby Bailey, Cameron Dollar, Bob Myers, who now runs my Philadelphia 76ers, because I'm from Philly. But Ed O'Bannon, he won you a championship. He was a great player. He had a pro career. But he's like best known now for suing the NCAA, right? And good for him.
A group of men sued the NCAA, but they needed a name, and he loaned his name, and he's glad he did. And I'll tell you how that happened. We won a national championship, and he was over in the bookstore, and the guy said, "Hey Ed, how you doing? Come on, let me show you around." He said, "Boy, Ed, we made $10 million on your run to the NCAA championship." And he'd walk him around. He'd see Ed O'Bannon jerseys, Tyus Edney jerseys, and he came in my office right after that. I said, "Coach, I just went over there, and the guy's selling my jersey, and they got me on Madden. I'm on the cover of Madden, and it's my image as they're playing through that." And he says, "Should I ever get something for that?" And the NCAA, that if they would have given kids a couple $100 a few years ago, they'd have gone away and been happier than pigs in slop, and increased it every year, $25, $50. No one would have ever said a word, but they're too greedy to do that, and it's coming back to bite them.
Absolutely. And Ed won that lawsuit.
Yeah, and they won it big.
Yeah.
Ed never got a nickel out of anything, but he won that big.
Jerry?
Well, I was going to say that UCLA, you had another great run like Pepperdine. What would you say to young coaches today on how to build a program? What are the key fundamentals that coaches should, like a short checklist of where they need to focus?
I had 21 assistants, and I had 3 sheets of paper that I said duties of the assistant coach. And the number one duty is 3 things: recruit, and recruit. Recruiting covers every every base, everything that you need to do. You got really good players, going to have a really good team. It changes everything. So I tell you, Jerry, I was a high school coach at Morningside High School for 9 years. And we played in our tournament, big tournament in Southern California every year. So Jerry, there's 660 high schools in Southern California that I can drive to home at night and get that.
It's incredible.
And so I got to know a plethora of coaches, and then we were right on the brink of being the best. I mean, last 4 years, my 4 years as head coach, we were we were 1, 2, 3 in Southern California. There was only 4A, 3A, 2A, and 1A then. And we were top school, and all the coaches knew me, and I knew all the coaches. So I go to Utah State. So I call all the areas, maybe 20 coaches in the area, the city of Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, San Gabriel Valley, Orange County, Pasadena, all over. Say, hey, coach, you're going to play 30 games. You're going to see a lot of players. You see a player you like, call me. And they all did. I sent them personal letters. I'd call them. And so I come back, go to UCLA, and I go to Pepperdine, I do the exact same thing. And I got, hey, coach, you got to come see this guy. He's 6'9", nobody's recruiting him. So I drive out and see the guy, and I get him. He starts 4 years for me, goes overseas and plays 9 years. And, and then I go to UCLA, I do exactly the same thing. Only it wasn't too hard to know who the coaches were there. But at least I got an opinion from other guys. So I kept my high school coaches involved with me, and they all helped me all the way. So, I just I love Southern California guys. I think we play great basketball out here. And you don't recruit Southern California if you're local, you're not going to get the job done.
So it sounds like execution and bring in talent. I mean, the best talent ultimately always wins. You look at the best teams, and they have the best talent year in, year out, and that comes.
I can do 20 segments on John Wooden, and if you pin me down, I would say one of the greatest things I ever learned from Coach Wooden was how to practice, the organization of your practice. Oh my heavens! I was an English teacher, and my principal made me do lesson plans. And you talk about snivel like a little rat. I was sniveling and complaining to my wife. I hate it, but I get to UCLA, and the Lord put John Wooden in my life. As a high school coach, I became the first director of the John Wooden basketball camp.
Wow.
And I was with him three meals a day for 6 weeks, 5 days a week. I mean, it was spectacular. We'd have a list of coaches, city coaches at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe 60 coaches. I'd say, fellas, ask him a question. We all got a master's degree in basketball. And one of the great things I learned from him is sit down and precisely plan your practice, just like I had to do with my English classes. But you know what, Jerry? I already knew how to do that. So it was just another great lesson that I learned that you got to plan your practice to the minute. You have 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, and 10-minute drills, and that's it. If you can't get it done in 2 hours, you're not organized enough. John Wooden. That's a John Wooden quote. And it start with you go full court drills followed by half court drills, hard drills followed by easy drills. I mean, it is amazing. You learn how to practice.
It's a great blueprint.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point.
I gave it to Jay Wright. And Jay keeps telling me he used it all the time. He was in Villanova. And he just asked me one day, we were sitting together recruiting, and he says, tell me, he kept asking, he was a young coach, assistant. He kept asking me and asking me and asking me. And finally I told him this is what, and it's incredible. John Wooden, I became a head, I got my job in high school the year he won his first championship. And I looked out there on the floor and I said, wow, I want my teams to play like that. So I proceeded to get a PhD in John Wooden's style of basketball, studied at Brooke Gowdy's book, went to every clinic, went to watch the practice, everything I could get a hold of. And finally, his assistant, Gary Cunningham, got the head coach job and hired me as his assistant. And I watched Gary, who was a one of the smartest men I've ever known, but a great teacher of the system of John Wooden basketball. And by the time I got to Pepperdine, I was ready to be a head coach. But by the time I got to UCLA, I was really ready for the Division One powerhouse job that it is.
That was always a very interesting thing to me. Gary Cunningham, Gene Bartow, guys had great years, but everybody was pissed off because they didn't win it all. And that's impossible.
Both coaches were 25 and were 50 and 8, 25 and 4 each year. Our last year there, my last year there, we lost 4 games. 3 of them were out 1 point. But both guys quit. They didn't get fired. Yeah. Both guys quit. Bartow got the head coaching job and athletic director at Alabama Birmingham, probably a lifetime job for him. And Gary got some things going, and both of them gave that job up. And then Larry Brown was there 2 years, and then Larry Farmer was there 3 years, and then Walt Ezra was there 4 years. So when I came in, I think it took people 3 or 4 or 5 years to realize, hey, he's going to be here, because there had been such transition through that program, but I had a great run. I had a great run in coaching, guys. Great run. It's not all three-way, but I had a marvelous career. I spent 60 years on the floor.
That's amazing. Wow. I mean, so blessed to be able to do that. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
That's why. And the impact you left on so many people, that just goes on because they'll spread it to other people.
I speak to a lot of young kids, and I open it with, hey, fellas, I spent 60 years on the floor, and I wasn't a player. And the only reason that happened is because I graduated from college. And I went on to say that, that you can play without being a player. And I just had a marvelous run. I think it takes you a long time to learn how to coach, Jerry. You just don't coach. And that's what the thing I look out today. Jerry, there's not a lot of teachers. See, what you are as a basketball coach, you are a teacher of basketball. Young people learn 10% when they hear it, 20% when they see it, but 70% when they do it.
When they do it,
and the laws of learning.
And that is kinesthetic learning. That's the way people learn the best is when they're actively involved, active listening, active coaching. The best corporate programs are built on that. The best basketball programs are built on that.
The laws of learning are explanation, demonstration, correction, and repetition. You got to do it over and over and over and over again. And I learned all of that from Wooden. I mean, he was a master, and I learned that from him. And I watched him, and when I got my head coaching job at Beverly, I said, well, you know what? He spent 28 years mastering everything he did. Why should I change anything? And I didn't. And we all learn from someone else. Everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever you know, you learn from everybody.
You picked the right guy. You were right in his backyard. When I was growing up as a coach, I read everything that Wooden wrote. Same with Dean Smith and then Bobby Knight. They're the 3 guys that I tried to follow in some way, shape, or form.
And I followed John Wood and Pete Newell.
Yeah. Pete was great. Big man camp.
Yeah. I sent my assistant to be his. Ask him how much coffee he wants, what he wants, cream or sugar. You stand right beside him. I sent him for 9 years to Hawaii with Pete Newell, and he come back. Boy, our big men were really well schooled, really well coached on the block because we got it all from Pete.
Yeah, a great teacher, and a mentor. He taught a lot of people how to teach the game.
I look back and the Lord blessed me so much. I'm coaching my fifth game in high school. My fifth game in high school. I send him out on the floor and I turn to sit down on the bench. I look up and there's John Wooden, 4 rows behind me. He had just won his seventh national championship watching me coach my fifth game in high school.
It's incredible.
And not one, he came down after the game, and not one time after that did he not know my name. Every time I saw him, hey Jim, how you doing? And that summer, they never had any camps in California. We never had camps in California in those days. And the year before that, one guy started a camp in San Diego, and I worked for him. And the next year he called me and said, hey, I'm going to have a camp. I want you to be my director. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit more money, and you're directing everything. We talked and talked. At the end, he said, it's going to be the John Wooden basketball camp out of Cal Lutheran College. And I did that for 4 years, Jerry and Pat, and to be with that man 6 weeks in the summer, 5 days a week, 3 meals a day.
That's gold. That's gold.
He's one of the greatest humans I've ever known, and funny, and
that's how we
great.
Yeah, that's how we learned, Jim. Pat and I are alumni of the Kathy Rush basketball camps. Kathy and Ed Rush. We worked in the Poconos for them, and some of the best coaches in the country would come through there. We'd get to spend time with them. Some of the best college coaches would work there, and we get to spend time with them, and we would trade things. And we've all had our mentors. I mean, all had our mentors from, yeah.
And and I tell players, I hope you learn. Hey, I hope you find a great coach to teach you and be a mentor for you and advisor I'd call Wood and I'd say, Coach, I need some advice. He'd fold his arms, say, Jim, I don't give advice, but I do give opinions.
Very good. Well, Pat, anything else for Coach Harrick? We've kept him quite a while.
No, it's been a pleasure, Jim, and congratulations on your great career. Give us your granddaughter's name again so we can follow her.
Her name is Kylie, Kylie Ray, Ray. Kylie Ray.
At University of San Diego.
University of San Diego.
That's great.
Torrijos, right? Torrijos.
Toreros.
That's beautiful great. Campus. I've been there. It's beautiful.
It is a gorgeous campus. Yeah. Pepperdine and San Diego have beautiful campuses.
Yeah, they're great places.
Hey,
thank you, Coach.
So pleasure being with you guys. I got to get down to your island and play some golf sometime. But
yeah, I owe Glenn a trip out there, and I thought we'd. Yeah, he said we might tee it up. I got to get out to California and bring my clubs, and we've got to get out and play. And please come down to South Carolina. Golf's on me.
All right, brother. Thank you, guys. Great talking to you. Great being with you.
Same here.
Good luck, Jim.
Coach. Let me stop.
Okay, Pat.